El-Dunia is a large, giant multimedia, multi-touch installation that is to be set up in Cairo. It is named after the vintage Egyptian device named the Cosmorama. And the objective of the Sanduq El-Dunia is to introduce its users to the cultural geography and the heritage of the city. We were very inspired by the philosophy and the central concepts that the Museum of Copenhagen used of taking its collections to the streets, and very much inspired by the cityscape editor that the Museum of Copenhagen built together with the Gibson Group, and the way by which the technology that they developed made it very possible for users to interact with the diversity of the city's heritage and to interact with the contents. The project is incubated by the Danish Egyptian Dialogue Institute under the close mentorship and guidance of the Museum of Copenhagen. And together we're working with a group of local partners, مركز المرأة والذاكرة, Women and Memory Forum, and CultNat, the Center for Documentation of Cultural and Natural Heritage. The topic for the festival in 2013 was Utopia, and we believed it was a very fitting opportunity to present a prototype of the Sanduq El-Dunia. We were given the very rare opportunity to test pilot our mock-up, and the Copenhagen wall transformed to Cairo.
The design takes into account the difference in context, the difference in culture, while promoting the same ideas of accessibility and openness to the public, being a project that's on the street basically. So for the Cairo wall we have designed a secondary skin for the container because of the difference in the temperature, the heat in Egypt. That second skin itself is very much like the wall and the content of it, a collage of different shading materials and motifs and devices used in Egypt, from Islamic to Coptic to modern.
It's really amazing to discover the city on this different level. You're not just looking at a map, but you're looking at images. Sometimes it's personal and private albums from families, and sometimes it's really the classical images about the city.
Coming out really beautiful, showing this incredible diversity of the cultural heritage of the built environment and of the way that the built environment sort of frames the social life on the streets of Cairo. So I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out, and obviously people on the streets of Copenhagen immediately took to this new version and said, what is happening on the wall? It's Cairo now, and what is this? The richness of the material is such that you begin to get a real sense of this richness of the cultural heritage of Cairo, both in terms of the built environment, these incredibly beautiful buildings, the way that the nature and the Nile and the climate interacts with the building, and the way that the built environment creates a specific framework around the social life, the way people interact in the streets and with each other. It's been just a pure pleasure working with our Cairo partners in this. In Egypt, you've been foresighted enough to actually create digital records. When we started this wall project, we had to start from scratch, more or less from analog records. And in Egypt, there is already a wealth of digitized material to work from, partly from the cultural heritage and the partners who collect that, but also, of course, from the way that people document life in the street and in their own private way, document what's happening that's important to them. I would really love to see a wall like this, a Sanduq El-Dunia, a real thing in the streets of Cairo.
Bye.